Hi, I'm here to read to you Boris in the Wrong Shadow. It's by Leigh Hodglinson. Let's get started. Boris had just woken up from his cat nap, and he smiles as he remembers his dream, swimming in a gigantic bowl of creamy milk. Now that he is wide awake, Boris is feeling funny. Not funny haha, but funny strange. Boris has a feeling that things aren't quite as they should be. For some reason, Boris appears to have the wrong shadow. He has no idea why, but Boris decided not to let a silly thing like this spoil an otherwise pleasant afternoon. As it turns out, Boris' afternoon is not at all pleasant. The other cats snicker, little flossy fluff ball squeaks at him. The beaky birds don't bother to look up from their splashy bath. Boris is starting to wonder if he actually is a mouse after all. He does like a nibble of cheese, if that means anything. But no, Boris is definitely 100% cat. And that's a fact. Just a cat with a stupid mouse shadow. Boris thinks that if he had any other shadow, perhaps something a little more wow, perhaps would be hunky-dory. But it isn't the least bit hunky-dory. Not in the slightest, however. Even gloomy cats need to stretch their legs occasionally. Perfect timing, too, as this is when Boris spies something very interesting indeed. His own shadow. Look at it, skipping past without a care in the world. What nerve! Boris decides to follow it. He slinks snoopily under there. He tippy-tappy-toes over here, but being so shushy and quiet as they... What? It's Vernon. Boris asks very politely if Vernon took his shadow. Vernon says, no, not exactly. Boris thinks that someone is telling a lie. Tiny lie. Vernon gulps and says, while you were snoozing, your shadow got bored and fidgety and wandered off. And I found the shadow and made me feel big and important, like a superstar. I didn't want to leave you without a shadow, so I gave you mine, a kind of switch swap. Boris could really like to switch back. And Vernon thinks that right now would probably be a good time to scurry home. Uh-oh, Boris' shadow is far too big to fit through the door. Vernon squishes, squeezes, and squashes it, but it just won't budge. This might be a slight problem, as Vernon loves his mouse house. He had just only finished decorating it. If having this enormous shadow means that he can't put her back home, then what's the point? You see, it's just as easy as being a tiny pink mouse all the time. It's not easy. Having Boris's marvelous shadow meant that everybody took Vernon very seriously for a change. You couldn't possibly ever understand Boris, he squeaks also quietly. Boris knows exactly how it feels as it happens. It's not nice to be snickered at, squeaked at, and ignored, It made Boris feel terribly small and all alone. Perhaps if they both stopped worrying about silly shadows, they can concentrate on more things like having fun together. First things first, to get Vern out of this pickle. Vernon pushes and Boris pulls. The shadow stretches like a giant rubber band until suddenly, ping! Toppily tumble, thunkety bump. Hoo-hee! Not exactly easy peasy, but the result's spot on. Vernon is loving being footloose and fancy free again, and has a new spring in his step. This is because both of it being his own shadow and Boris means double the fun. Now Vernon feels even better than a superstar. He is more like a super-duper star. And to be honest, lugging that big, bulky shadow around was very tiring. Perhaps his nice cup of tea followed by a little snooze would do the trick. Now that Boris calls a pretty perfect plan, one slippery sip later, Boris clambers up to his favorite pillow. This time, his shadow is too sleepy too, and sticking like glue. There'll be no prowling around and getting into trouble with a certain mischievous little mouse. The end. Thank you for listening. See you next time.